Shalom. Today is the 8th of April. It is the day of preparation, or today is actually the 14th of Nisan. So this is the day where the lamb is prepared and it's slaughtered between the evenings. The evening of which was last night, or at sunset before last night, and then sunset tonight. That's basically the 14th of Nisan. And the 15th of Nisan starts at sunset tonight, so that's unleavened bread starting. And that's normally where you eat the Seder, the Pesach meal. But I want to focus a bit more on the day of preparation, because people forget about the efforts of preparing for Passover, or the importance of preparing for Pesach. So what does it mean to prepare? Now, Pesach is one of the days that fall prior to a Sabbath. Now, tonight is special. It's going to be a full moon and a super moon, so I think it's very significant. Just the amount of light that will be radiated and the amount of revelation that I believe that will be imparted during this time. So I've done a small study this morning that I'm going to share tonight through Zoom. Just a few thoughts regarding this year. And what I titled this year is the year of division, or the year of separation. I'm going to tell you a bit more about that tonight. So what does it mean to prepare? So to prepare is similar to Friday, just before the Sabbath. So where you do everything you can, get everything to prepare a meal, set everything up, so as soon as sunset starts, the Sabbath starts, and then you have the time of rest. So in the same way, the day of preparation is that day prior to the Passover, but that involves a bit more preparation. You have to prepare the lamb, you have to prepare the meal, the invitations, the people who's coming. I know this year is a bit different because we're all locked down and separated, all by ourselves, set apart in our homes, only with family. So it's a very interesting year, facing all these challenges within the season of Passover. Now, the other thing I want to highlight is the prophetic meaning of Nisan 14. So preparation has to do with your life, preparing to enter the rest, or the Sabbath, the millennium Sabbath, or the promised land after the second coming of Mashiach. So that preparation happens between the two comings of Mashiach, the first coming and second coming. And we are the generation, which I believe is the last generation, that will see the coming of Mashiach, or our children at least will see that, for those who won't be here. So we are at a crucial time within a very interesting time frame, very close to the second coming of Mashiach. Now, last week in the book of James, I touched on the word that's linked to fear, that's linked to religion, that has to do with do not be dismayed, do not fear. There will be wars and rumors of wars. So fear not, fear not. These things need to happen, but it's not the end yet. So that's a message I want to just lay as a foundation. It is not yet the end. The end will only be determined by the two prophecies that need to sink in. Now, or the two witnesses from prophecies that's referred to in Matthew, that basically reveal what's already spoken in the book of Daniel, which talk about the two events. The one is the sacrifices will be stopped, and the abomination of desolation will set up in the holy place. So for the sacrifices to be stopped, they need to start the sacrifices. Now, every year around Pesach, the Jewish brothers want to start the sacrificial system again. They want to sacrifice the Passover lamb, and they haven't been successful yet. Now, I'm wondering whether they're going to attempt this year, or is this COVID-19 situation going to avoid that completely. In saying that, if that's the case, then we need to look at next year around the same season of Pesach to see whether the sacrifices will be started and stopped. And will there be anything set up on the Temple Mount that reflect the abomination of desolation? If you see those two things, then you start counting. That's where the counting starts with 1,260 days, I think. And there's a couple of days there, but it basically equates to 3.5 years. Because when you start the Great Tribulation, or the starting of the end, that time of trouble, on a Pesach, and you count 3.5 years, it will end on a trumpets or a Yom Kippur, round about that season. And that is in line with the blowing of the last trumpet, where the coming of Mashiach will be ushered in. So keep that in mind. Pesach is very, very, very important for watching real-time events in Israel regarding prophecy, regarding the end. So if we don't see those two witnesses happening in the season, it is not the end. There will only be wars and rumors of wars. Rumor is something that is not factual. It's something that is speculated. It might be a conspiracy, or it might be an idea of some people, but not all. So it is, in a sense, a spiritual concept that's only seen by spiritual people. That can also be the same interpretation. And we all know that there's a spiritual war happening. And the undercover war that the world and the people in the world don't see is the spiritual battle between Yahweh and the opposing forces before ushering in the new kingdom through Mashiach's second coming. So we are anticipating that day, and this season is the season for preparation. Just like you remove all leaven from your house, you need to do introspection and remove all sin from your life. And that is the preparation we go into. Another important thing to remember as part of your preparation, think about anybody that give you a bad feeling, or uneasy feeling, or a feeling of anger, or whatever, because that is the root that links to unforgiveness. And Paul warns us to say, do not eat this meal, which referred to the Pesach meal, the covenant meal, when you have an issue with a brother or a sister or a family member. You need to forgive. Otherwise, do not partake in this covenant meal. Very important. The other important thing to remember is that you should not include people who are not covenant people to partake in this meal. So what we're doing as a family this year, I've got one of my daughters here, but her partner is not a believer. So we're just going to have a normal meal. But I am going to use this day to discuss the theme and to remember Egypt. But I'm not going to do the covenant meal for his benefit and for his sake, because I don't want a curse to come upon him or myself and my family. So, but I still want to use this theme of redemption to speak into his life so he can think about these things. It is a season of redemption. It's a season where Yahweh wants to redeem everybody. And that's also seen in the parable of the banquet, where the people were all invited, but they did not turn up. And then he said, go into the streets, go and collect the poor, the blind, the sick, which are referred to as bad, and the good people, the people who are ready, and they can all partake in the banquet. So that's the message for today. So I speak to you later tonight. Shalom, and have a wonderful Pesach.